All right. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you.
Nice to see you. I'll be coming back to your classes. Okay. Come on Wednesday. Wednesday, yeah. Okay.
What do you see, Brando? What do you see?
Upcoming.
Upcoming? Maybe it's still is.
You're not going to show much, right?
I'm not going to show you. Yeah, just me. All right, so
Eating your fritters.
shh, yeah, it's a secret. We're doing a bit of a pre-challenge bulk here. We got some Animes treats, so for those who missed out on the presentation, sorry, but we're going to enjoy the delicious butter tarts, apple fritters, donuts, yeah, all the things. Okay, so we're going to roll into the quarterly overview. So each quarter, we have challenges, we have events, and we have a new training block. So we start the year from January to March with our strength and power training block. It feels like it was forever ago, and a few of the members were like, when is the strength block back? And it's like, that's the block where we work on like lower reps, like 3 to 5 reps, heavier weights, working on that explosive strength and power. Then from April, May, and June, we call it Summer Shred, and that's the training block that we work on hypertrophy. So like building lean muscle mass, higher reps, lighter weights, lots of volume, very demanding phase, lots of sore muscles, all those things. Then the phase we're just finishing is athlete conditioning, which was focused on lots of plyometrics, pretty tough workouts, kind of punishing and challenging on the body, but important because we want to keep our bodies durable and resilient for years to come. And then this phase coming up is called foundation phase. So this is when we go back to the basics, working on form and technique, working on that like 5 to 10 rep range, that like moderate rep range. We're trying to build strength, mobility, endurance, stability, kind of all in one, lots of pauses, lots of tempos. So those are the 4 training blocks and how they all kind of like tie into our overall focus of building strong, powerful, healthy, resilient bodies throughout the year. And then once we finish foundation phase, we'll go back into that strength and power training block and we'll kick off the cycle again. But foundation phase is a great way to get our bodies healthy and strong and set us up for success going into the new year. So a nice way to finish off the year and then kick off the next year. So today we're going to review Q4, which is foundation season, the upcoming events, the foundation phase, we'll dig a little deeper into that, and then the Fit Life Challenge, which is a really cool challenge that goes over all of the components of optimal health. So upcoming events in Q4. Tonight's event, oh my goodness, first one, well, it's technically before the quarter starts. Thanksgiving Monday, we have holiday hours, 6, 7, 8, and 9 a.m. Kick off the phase. So that's going to be the first workout of the new phase, which will be cool. And then the Fit Life Challenge starts Tuesday. So we get a little Thanksgiving bulk in, and then we dial it in for 7 weeks of all around optimal health. Then LP Mini, so our kids class is coming back, but it's going to be focused on kids under 10, families with kids under 10. Bring the kids in on Sunday mornings at 10 a.m. and we're just going to have fun, let the kids play, do their thing, and just meet some of the other kids in the community. So excited for that. Anyone who has families with kids under 10, please do join us. Moms and dads, it's not your workout, it's your kids' workout. So be there to support them. You might get a little sweat on, but it's not your workout. Family Halloween event at Benjamin Tree Farm. So we're gonna do a little scavenger hunt. We're gonna have some fun kids games and activities. They got a bouncy castle out there. They got tractor rides. They got animals. They got all kinds of fun stuff for the family and kids. So we're excited for that event. And then the LP Christmas party, the annual Christmas party. We've been doing it every year since day one. The first year was right here at the old LP. We did a potluck. There was like 20 of us. And then the second year was Breslau Community Center, I think. I think we did a potluck again that year. And then the third and fourth and maybe fifth year, we went to Victoria Park, if you remember that. And then after Victoria Park, we went out to St. Jacobs for one or two. We've done Lala for one. We are gonna do Westmount Golf and Country Club for this year. So we're super excited. We get all dressed up, fancy, one night of the year where we all get together for that. We also do the annual awards that night. And then a little extra special this year, we're gonna do a fundraiser, silent auction, raffle for the new women's crisis development that's going in right next door. So we're really excited to raise some money for that, in addition to the awesome fun event at the Christmas party. Okay, we're gonna dive into foundation season programming. So I kind of touched on this. This is the phase where we work hard to fix all those aches and pains, muscle imbalances, get the body feeling super healthy, super strong, to finish off the year and to set us up for success in the new year. The strength, so we're gonna have a huge focus on mobility and range of motion. Mobility is not just how far can I stretch the muscle and joint, but how far can I stretch the muscle and joint with strength and stability. So mobility is that end range where you still have strength and stability to perform the movement. So we're really gonna work hard on getting to the bottom of that squat, holding it there with a nice pause, feeling strong, feeling stable, driving out of that squat, okay, and going up. Same thing for bench press, same thing for all of our big lifts. We're gonna be doing lots of isometric work, so wall sits, planks, holds, different variations of movements to really build all those little stabilizer muscles to make our bodies healthy and strong. And we're going to, for the first time in a long time, and I'll show you a little bit more of this, we're going to be doing upper body and lower body strength on Monday, upper and lower body strength on Wednesday, and then a full body kind of functional training day on Friday. So for as long as I can remember, we've done squats on Monday, we've done bench press and upper body Wednesday, and then we've done deadlifts or some sort of strength on Friday. We're gonna shake that up. We have lots of members who maybe don't always come to all 3 strength days or can't make it, so it's a great way for us to be able to get in full body strength Monday, full body strength Wednesday, and same thing Friday. So we're super excited for that. That should be a cool way to change things up a little for this phase. And then for conditioning. So for conditioning this phase, we're gonna be working hard on building our threshold endurance. So threshold is like, it's that intensity. VO2 max is the top end of your endurance capacity, but you can only really do that for like 0 to 5 minutes. Threshold is that range between like 5 minutes and 1 hour in theory. And then anything over 1 hour is like just your aerobic conditioning. So we're really gonna work hard on that like hard, strong, but maintainable threshold pace. So we have some fun conditioning workouts on Tuesday that are challenging, and we're gonna work hard at that like moderate to high intensity and build that capacity, which will be really fun. And then Thursdays will of course be built around circuits, chippers, metcons, partner work, all kinds of fun stuff like that. So we're gonna dive a little bit more into that by using some examples. So this is an example of week number 1, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. We got some really good mobility and activation work, and our coaches were working with Doc Kyle to really emphasize some of the key important parts of some of these mobility and activation exercises so that we can get the most out of them, which is going to allow us to get the most out of the workout. So we're going to put a lot of intent and focus on quality movements and doing them with a purpose in the warm-up. So all of our standard, 90-90s, prone swimmers, different movements like that, but really going back to the basics on that stuff and really doing them properly with intent and with purpose so that it can lead to a really strong workout. So excited for that. Our accessory work, which you can see accessory strength circuits on Monday and Wednesday, those are going to be focused on very full ranges of motion with single arm and single leg work. So working on that mobility. And then we're also going to put lots of isometric holds into those circuits. And then we're really going to work on those imbalances with the core and the single arm, single leg work. Then for the main strength portion, the strength circuit on those Mondays and Wednesdays, we're going to be working on that upper and lower strength exercise. So you can imagine we're going to pair back squats with dumbbell bench press. So you'll be going back and forth between your squats. And then while you're recovering from your squats, you'll be doing bench press. And you'll be jumping back and forth between those two. So excited to get a lot of bang for our buck in terms of strength work within one circuit with the big lifts. So excited for that. And then on both days, we have these really fun finishers, and they're going to be focused on muscular conditioning and stamina. So we have a Tabata finisher on the Mondays, and then we're going to have a little superset finisher on the Wednesdays, which is really going to increase our muscular stamina and our muscular endurance with some very basic movements: squats, push-ups, V-sits, lunges, all those simple movements. But we're going to do them in high volume so we can increase our muscular endurance and our ability to flush out that lactic acid while we're doing it. So that's Monday, Wednesday. Friday's going to look a little bit different. We're going to have our mobility and activation at the beginning, and then we're going to split for a barbell complex, which is going to be some variation of a clean and jerk complex with some cleans and some front squats and some presses and some jerks. So barbell, kind of explosive strength and functional power. And then we're going to be doing some strongman work, which is going to be working with our sandbags, our D-balls, kettlebells, those like odd objects that are very challenging and demanding to move, but they challenge us to work through those functional movements like picking up that heavy bag off the floor, okay, or holding those odd objects for long periods of time. So excited for those 3 different kind of strength days that are going to shock the body and change things up a little. So progressions week over week. We're excited to, for the accessory side of things, keep the body guessing each week with some different type of movements. We got some split squats in there. We got some rows in there. We got some wall sits. Each week we'll be able to change the stimulus on those. And then in terms of the strength work, week 1, for example, we're going to do 6 sets of 5 pause back squats. And then in week 2, we can take that and we can knock it down to 4 reps, increase the load a little bit. Week 3, we can knock it down to 3 reps, increase the load a little bit. And we can also play around with, in week 1, it's going to be a 5-second pause. In week 2, we can decrease that down to a 3-second pause and even to a 1-second pause, so we can change the stimulus that way. So excited to play around with things. In October, it's going to be all about pauses. In November, it's going to be all about tempo. And then in December, we'll take out the pause and tempo and see how we're moving without those loops. So excited to challenge our bodies with all of that strength work. And then we touched on it a little bit earlier, but Tuesdays are going to be focused on this threshold conditioning. The best thing about the threshold work is it really touches on kind of that most rewarding part of endurance, because it's that toughest zone that you can really build the most amount of fitness on, the best bang for your buck again. So excited to build that into, on week 1, 3 12-minute threshold circuits. And essentially, you're going to be going from a machine to an exercise and back to the machine and you're going to be trying to find and maintain that threshold pace. So in minute 1, you're going to do rowing at a set intensity. You're going to figure this out as you go, and you're going to get off the rower and you're going to be doing wall balls. And you're going to try to find that continuous pace that each minute you're able to go back and forth between those two movements for 6 sets, 12 minutes, okay, at a similar intensity. So we'll measure that by either how many calories you got on the rower each time, trying to be consistent, and how many wall balls you got each time, trying to be consistent. After the 12 minutes, you're going to rest, recover, then we'll go to the next circuit. The next circuit could be a bike, maybe with some burpees. So for these ones, it's really important to know that these are all movements that are very simple and doable even when you're tired. Burpees, lunges, wall balls, dumbbell snatches, box step overs, thrusters, the movements that we love, hate, that are very tough. You know you can always do one more rep, even though it burns a lot. They're not high skilled. They don't have to be heavy. They just have to be at that right intensity that you can keep moving the whole time. So week 1 will be every minute on the minute. Week 2 will be every 90 seconds. Week 3, we'll talk about this a little bit later, but we're going to do some benchmark testing, which will be part of the challenge. Okay? Then week 4, we'll go up to every 2 minutes, and we'll tie in a third exercise. So a machine plus a wall ball plus a burpee every 2 minutes, and we'll be cycling through that. So excited to play around with some threshold conditioning, which will be cool. Thursdays, we're going to keep it fun. Love the partner work on Thursday. Love the teamwork on Thursdays. Lots of leapfrog, lots of AMRAPs, lots of I go, you goes, lots of interval work. That's the day we're going to get the heart rate up and down. Maybe do some of the higher skilled movements. Get up on the pull-up bar, do some toes to bar, do some more challenging movements. Not always at that like top intensity, but more to kind of play around and have some fun with some different movements. So excited for those days to change it up, keep it fun, keep it light. And then high rocks. So these are our big weekend conditioning classes. We don't do, let's say, specific high rocks training throughout the week, but of course, a good high rocks athlete is strong, has good conditioning, and then is able to do the movements or the stations efficiently. On the weekends is when we get super specific. So first and foremost, the high rocks group just finished a big race, so we need to chill out for a couple weeks. It was I would say, as much physically demanding as it was for them mentally. The heightened kind of like stress and pressure that we all put on ourselves to perform at the highest level kind of wore us all out. So we just need to take a couple weeks just to have some fun, chill out, relax. And then once we, that period of time's over, we're gonna get into some running, back to some base building running, some strength running to rebuild that run game, especially as we do have what most would say is perfect running weather. Maybe a little cool for some, but perfect weather before the winter hits, October, November, December. Maybe in January we'll have to bundle up or come inside on the treadmill. But we're going to get some really good running in. We will retest some benchmark run tests and station work so we can reestablish our baselines, and then we can use those paces in some of our workouts. And then we'll go back to the basics on mastering some of the movements like sled pushes, sled pulls, lunges, wall balls, making sure our form and technique is perfect, because I think what a lot of us learned in the race was that when we get tired, what we practice is so important, because the muscle memory needs to be there so that when we're feeling the pressure and we're exhausted, that we can keep pushing through. So excited to rebuild and get back to the basics in terms of high rocks training. Okay, now the fun part, the Fit Life Challenge. Jesus is wondering, what the heck is this? It's, I think, one of our most important special challenges of the year, because just like foundation season, we go back to all of the basics of optimal health and we tie it all into one challenge. So over the 7 weeks, each week is focused on a different area of optimal health. So in week 1, we're going to do body composition. In week 2, we're going to do strength. In week 3, we're going to do nutrition. In week 4, we're going to talk about blood work and optimal health. And from that perspective, in week 5, we're going to talk about endurance. In week 6, we're going to talk about mobility. And in week 7, we're going to talk about recovery. So each week we have a different expert within our community that's going to present and teach us about that area. And then we'll also have some sort of test that we do to see where we're at in terms of that. So the biggest takeaway from the challenge is you're creating your own Fit Life scorecard. So you have this report card of all of these areas, and then at the end of the challenge, you see which areas you're doing really well in and which areas need some attention, so we can take that and use it for the future. So last year was the first time we launched the scorecard idea, and this year we're excited to reuse it so we can, one, compare to where we were at the previous year, and then also set some new benchmarks for the upcoming year. So we're excited to have Michelle talk about body composition in week 1. I'll be talking about strength in week 2. Dr. Kyle will be talking about nutrition in week 3. Dr. Jen will be talking about blood work and the healthy living panel that she has already got a lot of our members to do, what we test in that blood work, and then why it's important to your optimal health. Week 4, our endurance coach, Mark Cullen, is going to be talking about endurance and the benefits related back to optimal health. In week 6, Coach Ree is going to talk about mobility and how to optimize and improve your mobility. And then in week 7, Kathleen, our physio, is going to talk about recovery and how to optimize recovery with a busy life and how to make the most of it. So each week we have a presentation, each week we have some tests that we're going to do, and each week there's an awesome prize that everyone who's in the challenge will be eligible for if they do the test, if they participate in the workshop and education, and are just part of the challenge. So we're excited for that, and then at the end of the challenge, of course, you get to walk away with your own little report card for optimal health, and use that going in to finish the year and going into the new year. Any questions on the challenge or anything I maybe missed?
I'm kidding. Now I know what it is.
Now you know what it is, buddy.
Yeah.
It's exciting.
So
It's exciting.
we actually get to do the tests here in person.
Exactly. So how we've done it, in week 1, very simple, everyone's going to do the body comp analysis. Then Michelle is going to, this is kind of the part I missed. So Michelle is then going to talk about what are the key metrics in your body comp analysis that you're looking at and how do those relate back to your optimal health. Okay, so here's an example of your Fit Life scorecard. This is a 45-year-old male who's 70 inches or 5 feet 10. So they weigh 170 pounds. They had 33 pounds of body fat, which was 19.5%. They were 80% lean body mass, and their course of action was to maintain that because that's super healthy. Okay? From that metric, they got some really good nutrition data. So they got their BMR pulled from that data. They got also, so that's base metabolic rate, how many calories you burn at rest. They also got, based on activity level and number of workouts per week, they got an approximate total daily energy expenditure, okay, so of 2,300 calories, and then a goal caloric intake if your goal was to maintain your current body weight. They got also some macros, 177 grams of protein, 206 grams of carb, 92 grams of fat. Okay, so really cool data pulled from that body comp portion. The strength portion is also really cool because it's not just like how much can I lift, it's how much should I be targeting for my age, my gender, right? And what is optimal. So we say for bench press, it's good to target your body weight. So if you can bench press your body weight one time, your strength is optimal, right? For squat, we say it's important to try to squat 1.25 times your body weight. And it's important to be able to deadlift 1.5 times your body weight. So you don't have to memorize all those metrics, because all you have to do is put in how much you lifted, and it's going to tell you. So for this gentleman, he got 132 on the bench. He needs to up that a little bit for 170 pounds. So he's working on his upper body strength. The deadlift, 286, that hit the optimal target. And the squat, 220, that also hit the optimal target, which is really cool. The other strength and endurance tests we do are a push-up test, a grip strength or bar hang test, and then we also did a broad jump for speed and power. So these are just some of the examples of the tests that you'll be doing. And then these are the detailed charts that we built into the scorecard. So you just enter the data and it spits it out. But this one, it's hard to read, but it says if you're 40 to 50 years old, you need to be able to bench press 0.9 for men and 0.6% of body weight per woman. Okay? And then it goes over bench, squat, deadlift based on your age and your gender. So really cool. VO2 max, it shows a chart for your age and the optimal range you want to be in. So for the VO2 max test, we do a 2K row test. We do a 1.5 mile run test. Okay, and then we also do a shuttle run beep test. Okay, and the only goal with those tests, because they're not very fun, is to complete them and see where the score on the test relates back to your VO2 max, so you can see that in the chart and what you need to focus on. If you're in that optimal range, maybe it's something you need to work on or focus on. And then same thing with body composition, we talked about that.
So for example, in the endurance class, we're going to be rolling 2 walls.
Exactly. Okay, and then we like to do 2 different tests, like a 2K row and a 1.5 mile run, and then we can compare those 2 so we can almost get an average. So say we don't totally trust the row test, we don't totally trust the run test, but we know that if we're close, if you're 47 on one and 49 on the other, okay, we know your VO2 max is around like 48, right? If you're 60 on one and 50 on the other, it's probably more like, I just really don't like running, or I'm not very efficient on the road, right? But now I know that my top end VO2 max is actually higher than. So yeah, some really cool tests that often in the past we've got intimidated by, but we're just using them to give us the data, so we can get it in our report card. That's right. Yeah. And then the goal at the end of the challenge is to be able to look at that report card and say, okay, when I'm building out my weekly fitness routine, my scorecard told me I need to work on my strength. So I know that the LP workouts Monday, Wednesday, Friday are strength. I'm going to make sure I get 2 of those and 1 cardio day to maintain my cardio. Yeah. You know, or opposite, my strength is really good, but I need to work on my cardio. So I'm going to come to 2 cardios and 1 strength to maintain that, right? So it's a cool way to build out your future plan. Okay.
In terms of the apps that you're using to track this,
Yeah.
is the Wood.
That's right. So, this is also a good time to make sure you have all of the tools that we do use on a daily basis. So, WattUp is the one where all the workouts go in. Yeah. It's the one where we enter all that, so you can start to put your strength numbers in there, and it will save all your data over time, which is good. So WattUp is what we use for a daily basis for strength. MyZone is the heart rate monitoring system. So the cool thing about that one is when you do those endurance tests, you'll also be able to see where your heart rate is in those zones. Okay. And when we're doing these Tuesday threshold workouts, you'll also be able to measure your threshold, which is 80 to 85% of your max heart rate. You'll actually be able to just see it on the screen and say, okay, I'm at 90, that's above threshold, I'm not gonna be able to maintain that. Or I'm at 75, I can actually like push a little harder. Okay, that's what shows up on the screen. That's the one that's up on the screen. And all you see is colors and numbers. Wonder what that was. But if it's like yellow, that's like, boom, threshold, awesome. If I see red, VO2 max, let's back off of it. If I see green, aerobic, let's step it up a little bit, you know? So it's a cool way to really focus on fitness without having to overthink it.
And that requires an app and a device, I'm guessing, or is that any sensor works with that app?
Yeah, unfortunately, you do need the MyZone device, which then syncs to the system. But they're just either a chest strap, or there are the armband or the wrist strap on too. We think the chest strap is still the most accurate.
It's the most accurate.
The armband seems to be pretty close. The wrist is good if you're doing cardio, like if you're doing strength training or circuits. It's hard to pick up the data for some reason, but yeah, they're getting better.
I'm sure they come online.
Yeah, we actually have a really good discount on them.
Oh, good.
So it'll be cool through the gym to get set up with that. So yeah, those are some of the tools that we'll use. So we get started with the new phase and the challenge next week. Monday will be day one of the new phase. Tuesday will be day one of the challenge, and that first week will be focused on body composition. So now it makes sense when I said in week 3 of our programming will be the benchmark test, because that's the week Coach Mark, our endurance coach, will do his presentation workshop. We'll do our endurance tests and talk about them and how they relate back to the VO2 max, which is cool. So each week we'll do our body comp, week 1, week 2 we'll do some of our strength benchmarks, we'll do our endurance benchmarks in week 3, and then we'll continue to do some different benchmarks as we go through the challenge. So
Dates will be posted, Adam, we already have all the list of dates.
Okay, so once you sign up for the challenge, then you'll get an email with the challenge booklet, and then that will have what each week's focus is on, and it'll also have all of these awesome charts more clearly written and typed out. So,
and the sign up is also via email, or sign up?
Sign up should be in email and should be in the LP app where you sign up for classes.
Okay.
So you should be able to sign up right on there. These are all the questions I needed people to ask. Thank you.
Where to go.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. Yes, So if you want to sign up, free for members, no charge. You get awesome data.
Okay.
I think it's a 7-week crash course university degree on optimal health.
Yes.
You know, it's pretty cool. You're going to learn a ton. We'll record all of the workshops. You can listen to them at whatever time best suits you. And we have a presenter, Dr. Jen lives in Spain. Coach Mark lives in Vancouver.
Oh, wow.
Most of the other presenters live locally. But yeah, it's around the world, professors from around the world. Which is exciting.
So I guess we have to sign before Tuesday, right?
Sign up before Tuesday so you can get that challenge guide. We'll send that out on Monday. You can start to prepare. Week 1 is essentially getting organized anyways. All you got to do is get your body comp analysis. Coach Michelle's going to do her workshop, and then we'll put that data into your Fit Life scorecard.
Good.
Yes. Any other questions? Excited for an awesome phase. Finish the year strong.
Sure.
Get ready for 2026.
High Rocks Ottawa.
Oh yeah. What's next? High Rocks Strong and then High Rocks Ottawa. Come on. All right, guys. Thank you. 34 minutes. 35 minutes. That wasn't bad.